What's up, everybody that watched my last video? All the people on there that said I can't come into a public library with my Donald Trump hat on with the middle finger. As you can see, I'm wearing it. Well, I guess the city learned very fast that they violated my rights. And now I'm going back into the same library with the same hat on because I was told what I did was not illegal, and that I'm more than welcome to come back into the St. Clair City Library with this hat on. So for all you haters out there who said, oh, I violated the city library's policies and I'm a bully, I'm not a bully for wearing a Donald Trump hat for somebody who I believe in and I like his policies. If you don't like this picture, don't look at it. I don't give a shit if it hurts your little feelings or not. Life is tough. Go get a helmet. Now, I'm going to show you something. Guess where I'm walking into right now? And I'm going to videotape. And I'm going to walk right in with my little hat on. Because I'm allowed to. So, I just want to show you that I'm coming right back in. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
All right. How are you?
Good.
Thank you very, very much. Take care. You too. Just kind of stay dry.
So here we are in the St. Clair Public Library. The same library that threw me out over my Donald Trump hat. How y'all doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. You guys weren't involved in it.
Okay.
But yeah, they threw me out of the library for this Donald Trump hat a couple months ago. I'm sure you heard about it.
And you can record us, you just can't record other people without their permission, okay?
Oh, well, I would vastly disagree.
Okay, well, that's in our policies.
Well, you also have to understand now, I want to make sure I'm clear. I don't want to fight and argue. This is a public area, okay? And when somebody is in public, I don't have to have their permission to film them because we are in a public forum. Now, I'm not going to go up to this lady and just start filming her. That'd be a little weird. But if she were to come up and have a conversation with me and approach me, I would film her. So the law literally says, now I'm not trying to fight and start an argument.
I'm not either. I'm
Right.
just letting you know what our policy is.
Yep,
Right, but
our policy, our code of conduct.
right, but you also have to understand, I was thrown out for a Donald Trump hat, right? And they said, no, that was a violation of my rights. And they said, nope, now you can come back into the St. Clair Public Library with that hat on, which is what I'm doing now, okay? So if this offends you, which I don't know if it is or not, nor do I care, but you have to keep in mind that I'm not here to disturb anybody's peace. That's not the goal. But I'm trying to prove to everybody here that I'm back here in St. Clair Library with this Donald Trump hat on. Everybody see that? And if anybody else in this library, because it's publicly paid for, your money, your paychecks come from me and everybody else in the city. If somebody approaches me in this public library, I don't have to ask for permission to film them. Now, if they don't want to be filmed, they can stay away from the camera, or they don't have to approach me and have a conversation. But that's the way the law works. So I'm not mad at you guys.
I'm not trying to argue or anything.
Oh, no.
I'm just telling you what our policy is and what we're...
Right, but do you understand that the Constitution that was created, the very first amendment, it was ratified in 1788, and the very first amendment says that we have freedom of speech and a right to film. It doesn't say that you can't film somebody unless they give you permission in public. Now, if this was a private establishment and you asked me not to film somebody, I'm required by law to follow that policy because it's a private establishment. But because it's public, I can film anything in this library. I can film you guys, which you probably aren't fond of me filming because you know I'm going to be putting this on YouTube. But I can also film any of the other patrons that are in this library. This is a state that's called a one-party consent, meaning I don't need, only one person needs to consent to being filmed. So if I want to film that person and I'm the one party that consents to it, I can legally do so. No matter if they don't want to be filmed or if they do want to be filmed. And if they ask me politely and nicely, generally, I don't want to put anybody on YouTube that is uncomfortable with it, so I wouldn't do that. But if you ask me not to film you and then you cause a scene, yes, I will film you. The other thing I want to bring to your guys' attention is when the public comes into the library and somebody may be offended because of my filming and they ask me not to film them, what strikes me is they're uncomfortable with a citizen filming them with a phone. However, they're perfectly okay with the 600 cameras that are in this library filming them. They don't have a problem with any of the cameras on them that are filming them. But the second I or any other citizen pulls out a phone and begins filming, then they have an issue with it. See what I'm saying? So that's how this world works. Everywhere we go in this world, we're being filmed, basically, unless you're not in your house. When I drive down the road in my subdivision, I'm being filmed by 14 people's Ring doorbells. I'm being filmed at every house I go by. Everybody's got door cameras and all this stuff now. Come into the public libraries, there's cameras. The only place you can't film in a public library is if it says restricted or employee only, or obviously private areas like a restroom. So besides that, this whole area is all public, which means I can be filmed. And because you two are paid for by the taxpayers, and we're in a public building, I can film you guys. I can also film anybody. Your other librarian told me I couldn't film anybody that was standing at this booth trying to check out a book because it was a violation of their privacy. And what they don't understand is, if you guys look this up, anything the human eye can see in public can be filmed. So if I'm standing over here, okay, and Susie Sue or Johnny comes over to check a book out, if I feel like it, I can videotape the entire transaction. And your librarian told me that I was violating his privacy. What your librarian doesn't understand is the law is very, very clear. If the human eye can see it in public, it can be filmed. And that's the way it is. Now, some people may not like that, and they may think I'm a bully and I'm being rude. If you don't stand up for your rights are going to continue to get trampled upon. And I'll give you a perfect example. Well, the library policy says you can't film anybody. Well, that may be your policy. However, my Constitution that was written by the forefathers of this country said I can. And there's no laws that a library can make or a policy that supersedes my right to freedom of speech or for filming. So that's why I'm here. So, but that's all I wanted.
Okay.
So here you go, guys. So I just wanted to let you know I'm back here in the library. I'm back in this library. Everybody thought I couldn't come back and I was a jerk for wearing a Donald Trump hat in a public library. Well, here I am. The city attorney for St. Clair made it very clear that I could come back into this library with this hat on. I'm not being a bully. I love the president that's running this country.
Great day.
I think he's doing a wonderful job. And we'll leave it at that. But here I am, guys. I'm right back in the same library wearing the same hat that everybody said I violated library policy. So that was a load of bullshit. Take care.